Hey guys, this is Cyril with TWRAPS, and I'll show you how to install the headlights clear paint protection film on the Cybertruck. Our kit includes both headlights here as well as the middle piece, because that middle piece is not made out of steel, so it's also prone to getting scratches from rock chips and such. Before you begin any paint protection film installation, make sure you clean the area thoroughly. When done cleaning, respray with soapy water. Get the film, spray the film on top. Also make sure to pop that front trunk open. It's gonna make that installation a lot easier. Now I'll peel off just a little bit of the film and spray the adhesive side. Then I'll peel off the rest of it and spray all of the adhesive. Notice that the cutouts will have the letters P and D for passenger side and driver side to help you with orientation. And make sure you position the film in the right direction. And I would start the alignment here in the middle of the car. And this doesn't wrap around the edges to make the installation do-it-yourself friendly. So I'll just align so that the film doesn't stick out of the edges, and I'll squeegee out the water. Make sure to recheck your alignment during the installation, because that process of removing the water can misalign the film, and you can still adjust it before it starts curing. And once you're done with the installation, give it at least 24 hours before you do any car washes or such. The film needs time to cure, and before that it's very prone to peeling off from water and whatnot. Now it's a bit tricky to get my squeegee in here, but it's totally doable. One more thing, you have these two curves, and I don't know if it's visible on the video, but the film tends to lift here because of that curve. You have a few ways to handle this if it happens to you. One way is spray clean water under the film to clean up some of the soap and make the film more adhesive. The other way is to use a heat gun or a hair dryer to warm up the film. And the third way, which I think is the most easy one to do, is to just leave it alone for a few hours. Once the whole thing starts drying up and film starts curing, you can just push it with your finger and it's gonna stick. Make sure you don't leave a big crease here, so do your best before that. For instance, I'm getting the same here, but I'll just leave it for a couple of hours, and once the curing starts, I can just push it and it will stick. Okay, the passenger side headlight is done. I'll move on to the middle piece. The middle piece follows the same process. We want to clean it up first. Then spray. Spray the film. Peel off. Spray the adhesive. And continue peeling off until the film is in your hands. Then spray the adhesive again and align. Take your time, remove all of the water, otherwise you end up with what people describe as bubbles, even though it's not air, it's water trapped in the film. That's pretty much it. The driver's side headlight follows the same principle as the passenger side. They're identical. Just take your time, clean up well, remove all of the water, give it a few hours, and if you see that you have any misalignment issues where the edge would be sticking out a little bit, just push it with your finger or use a heat gun or a hair dryer to warm it up, because once you warm it up, the film becomes super sticky and soft, so it can easily handle any curves that you might have missed. Hey guys, this is Cyril with TWRAPS, and I'll show you how to install the light bar clear protection film for the Cybertruck. Before you begin the installation, make sure you clean your light bar really well. In this case, I've already pre-cleaned it. I'm just doing a final wipe. Usually paint protection film is installed with soapy water. In this case, because it's a very thin piece, in my experience designing this, we had a lot of difficulties installing with soapy water. So I'm gonna try installing with clean water, and I just need to be mindful about trapping air under the film. First, spray the entire length of the light bar. Then I'll spray the film, and I'll start peeling the film off, and then I'll spray the adhesive side. This is a really long piece, so be careful to not drop it on the floor. Make sure you get your orientation of driver and passenger sides right, and kind of lay the film over and position it. Now, because I'm using clean water, this sticks a lot more than it would with soapy water. A little speck of dirt here, and I'll just peel off to remove it. There you go. So if the film is not cooperating when you try to align it, you can always peel off segments of it, respray, and reapply. And then just use the squeegee to remove the water. Also be careful to not stretch the film, because you essentially deform it that way. And it is easy to stretch it because it's basically a long, thin piece. Notice that I keep realigning it, and you have to do the same. You can run your fingers like that to check if it's sticking out either from top or bottom. And if you by accident leave a spot where the film is sticking out, just give it a few hours, the film will dry and it will become extremely sticky at that point, and you can just fold any exposed edges with your finger and they'll stick. If you're in a rush, you can use a heat gun or a hair dryer to achieve the same thing. Okay, so I basically applied half of it. Now I'll move on to the other half. I'll peel off the film on that half, respray, because some of the water started drying up, making it very difficult to realign as I need. And again, it's rather difficult to apply such a long, thin paste. So I recommend using clean water instead of soapy water. And if you need to drive the car soon, maybe have a hair dryer or a heat gun handy so that you can heat the film and kind of fold around any edges where it might be sticking out. That mostly depends on how good you did with the alignment, but again, it's really difficult to make a perfect alignment. So I can recommend using a heat gun. If, on the other hand, you don't need to drive immediately, like let's say you're doing this on Saturday evening and you're not going anywhere on Sunday morning, you can just leave it overnight, and then in the morning it should be dry and cured, and you can just do like this, run all over the edges like this, and they'll fold and stick.